My name's Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and this is the new PSE Decree. Arrived in my shop yesterday. So yesterday, two bows arrived. This is one of them. And I just did a review. When I say a review, I just did a video on it. So then I'm looking up, I'm trying to list the item, and I'm like, well, what does this item sell for? How does it compare? What does it sell for in the US? So I looked up. In the US, this bow sells for $1,300. Okay, $1,300 US. To convert to Australian dollars, our exchange rate is 65 cents, so you divide by 0.65. That comes out to $2,000. We have 10% tax in Australia, so that's $2,200 is what the equivalent of what this bow should sell for in Australia. That does not include the freight into Australia, which is $100. Okay, so roughly 2,300 Australian dollars is the equivalent of what this bow sells for in Australia, what it should sell for. So I'm like, okay, let's see what other people are selling this bow for in Australia. Bear in mind, this bow arrived in my store yesterday. There's actually two shops in Australia who do have this bow in stock. Now, I have discussed this before with PSE, and they've, basically they don't want to hear it. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to complain anymore. But I do want to tell you about this because I think it's pretty good. So the title of this video is how much would you pay for a Decree? So it's $1,300 in America. Would you buy one of these Decrees brand new, straight off the shelf for $900 US dollars? Would you? Well, okay, it's not really going to cost you 900 US. It's going to cost you $1,000 to get this thing to your door from Australia. Okay, that's what it's going to cost you. There's one of them. Now, why I do these videos is because I don't know if my competitors are stupid, and I'm not being critical and I sound like I'm being stupid, or what they are doing. I don't understand. I really do not understand. So this is the page of one of my competitors. Now, I'm not going to put up his name. But I'm going to put it up there so you can see what this bow is selling for in Australia. $1,583 Australian dollars. That equates to 877 American dollars. 877 American dollars is what he's selling this bow for. It's only arrived last week. So, he's got it on special, closing it out. It's only just rocked into your store. You can't even order these bows. When I say you can't even order them, if you wanted a 60 pound in black, they don't have any. And you're already closing the bow out. You're already putting it on discount. Okay, so let's just think about this. So $877 is what it costs US to buy this bow in Australia at the moment. There's one of them. Okay. It's going to cost you $100 to get freight it to America. Okay. So you're going to land this bow in America for $300 cheaper than what you can buy this bow for in America. You still have all your warranties. You still have everything because PSE will look after you. Okay, I want to talk about this because I get really confused in the archery industry. Really confused. I've been doing it for 40 years. And I get confused with the stupidity. So at the price he's selling this bow for, it's less than my cost. So he's either buying this bow for less than I pay for it, and I buy a lot more PSEs than he buys. It's not even close. The freight price I'm going to guess, is going to be the same because he would have paid the same as what I paid for freight from America. So he's got to be buying at the same price as me. So I'm no longer getting a discount, even though PSE say I get a discount because I sell to shops. Now, what it does in Australia for this brand of bow is anyone who goes to buy one now, because it's $1,900 in Australia, which is still significantly cheaper than America. So the margins in Australia are significantly less than the US dealers. So we're making a lot less money than the US dealers in Australia because we have no price control here, right? So if you want to sell this bow at below cost, you can because you're trying to put me out of business. Now, So I think, well, maybe he's just trying to put me out of business. Okay, so maybe he's just doing this to pee me off. Maybe. I didn't even have this bow in stock. So you're discounting a bow that is not in stock that no one has. So it's not that you're like trying to put me out of business. It's clearly not that. It's just you have no idea what you're doing. Now this, you might say, well, actually he's doing a lot better than you, Stephen. And that may be the case. I think he's going broke. Okay? And I say this, right? I say this because I've got lots of friends in businesses, and when they have no money, what they do is they run these sales. And they run these sales where they put stuff out at below cost just to have money to come in to pay the bills. Like you've got to pay your rent, or you've got to pay your wages, and you've got no money coming in. So what you do is you discount everything heavily so you can cover this month's fees, right? One of my friends has a business, same size as my business, okay? Well, we were the same size, about the same amount of stock and about the same turnover. A different business, okay? It's a closed business. And I was like, Jesus, he's doing well. Anyway, his business is, he had 3 stores in South Australia, and he's broke. He's literally broke. A beautiful house, much nicer than my house, all debt. The businesses are all rented. The car's rented. The car's a hire purchase. Looks flashy. From the outside, you go, this guy is a successful businessman, right? From the outside, looking in, and all his staff think he's doing really well. He's maxed out his credit cards. He's maxed out his loans. The banks won't lend him any more money because he's fully maxed out. He's been in business for 30 odd years. 2 years ago, he was doing well. 2 years ago, he was doing okay. In COVID, he was like brought himself a flashy car. So instead of taking that profit and reinvesting in the business or investing that money or paying off your debt, he went and brought a flashy car. So I'm going to look at this other store. Now, what they're doing is by discounting bows like this, and there's other stores doing the same. And people are going to say, well, you do this. And that's okay. Well, we can have that conversation. By doing that, it means I sell this bow to stores around Australia, right? There's 3 of these bows in Australia. 3, that's all. There's 3 of these bows. This one just arrived, right? So one of my stores would probably buy this bow off me because I sell it to them at, wholesale pricing. Well, now they can't buy it off me because there's one up in another state which is actually cheaper than my cost price. So they can't buy it off me, and means they can't sell it in their shop. They can't make a profit. Okay? I had this store. It was in Wagga Wagga, which is Australia's biggest inland city. He had in stock, I'm going to say, 200 compound bows. He would buy off me a week of PSE bows, maybe 6 or 7. Beautiful guy, lovely family business. So he'd buy, let's say, 7, maybe towards even 10 PSE bows a week. And then this price war hit, all right? So this other shop was discounting PSEs. And again, I don't know if that, and I did a video on it, I don't know if they were doing it just to pee me off, to put me out of business. And I'm okay for that, right? Because it's like I have no expenses. My business is owned. I own the building. And I own lots of buildings, and they're all rented out. Okay? So if you think you're going to put me out of business, dude, I do this this is a hobby. I like selling bows. I like helping people. I like coaching people. I do it because I enjoy it. Okay? It's a lifestyle, which I chose. So if you think you're running me out of town, I wouldn't want to come up against me. It's the worst nightmare because I can just sell at cost and still make money, right? So because literally I don't drag a wage out of this business, right? Anyway, so what it does, it kills the market. So can I buy more of these? I think this is a cool bow. I said it in the last video I just did. I think this is a cool bow. This is a bow I used to stock all the colors, all the poundages in stock. So if a shop wanted a black or a green or a left-handed or a right-handed, I would have it. And they could get it in a day, and they could sell it to the customer in a day. By the customer selling this one bow at below cost price, it means I can't buy any more of these, because it's like I have to wait for him to sell that and then see what he's going to do. See if he's going to be more of a moron by selling stuff at below cost. Now, the problem you have of shops selling below cost is they're not actually making money. So while they're turning over money and they can pay their wages, what they're doing is reducing their stock levels. So they're actually losing money because it costs money to sell this product, right? They need to look after warranty. They need to look after the customers. To set up this bow for a customer might take 2 hours. 2 hours of staff labor is going to cost you $100, so he's behind. He's behind already because he's like, I don't know. Anyway, that's where I'm at with this decree. So if you want to buy one, and I've done a few videos on this, like Matthews titles in Australia are crazy cheap. Like, if you want to buy a Matthews title, buy one in Australia, because you can take 10% off for the tax, and then you'll ship it to America for $100, and you'll save yourself about $400, $500 US dollars. It's crazy. Hoyt is cheap here in Australia, because Hoyt obviously and Matthews obviously do special prices for Australia. I don't understand it. Well, I do understand it, because you're trying to get some of the market. But what you're saying to your customers in the US is, we're just going to charge you more. We're just going to make more money out of you. If I was an American, I'd be pretty pissed off with that, right? Anyway, so that's the decree. This is the ad. And like I said, I'm not phoning. I'm not emailing PSE, because I've done this before and I just come off as a whinger. Right? I come off as a whinger. Now, what I'm going to say is, I've done videos before about inflation. Okay? About the costs of everything going up. Like, all my properties went up. Just that one property, the one property I own, went up by $1 million. It's crazy, right? So it's crazy. I don't feel good about it. But what it does, it puts up the cost of rent. Well, this customer rents. He doesn't own his building. He rents it. So his rent's probably gone up, and he's probably struggling because his costs, well, he's not making money when he sells stuff because he's got sales on. People are going to say, well, he's doing well in this. Well, do you really know that? I don't think so. I think it's a matter of time. It's like, if he's not broke this year, I would be surprised. So I'd give him 6 months. And if you brought one of these bows from him and you have a problem, you'll go, well, I brought this, and it's like, well, you didn't buy the bow off me. So, okay, so I'm going to leave it there. Now, I haven't been to the shop. I haven't seen the shop, and I'm going to guess his stock levels are decreasing. And I think he's doing it tough, because you don't run sales on a new product where you're the only person who's got it in stock. But this is what you got to deal with. Now, American dealers, you're probably going, what's he talking about? You don't have to deal with this, because you'll have a minimum advertised retail price of what this sells for, $12.99, and everyone just sits to that price, and you all make your whatever you're making per bow, and that's it. Some of you will chuck in some stuff for the customer, and some of you will tune the bow for free, which is cool. But you're making plenty of money, and it's like, yeah, like, cool business. The problem is, in Australia, our costs are really high. Wages are really high. Rents are really high. Your ability to set up a new business, it's just not there now. It's just not there. And then when you see this, when you see customers selling stuff at below cost, and it's only just rocked in, it's like, now, I had this before when I was a Matthews dealer. So I was a Matthews distributor, and I invested $100,000. If you've heard this story before, I'm sorry. But I invested $100,000 to buy Matthews. And I was like, I'm going to be big in Matthews. I'm going to spend $100,000 and bring all these Matthews in. Anyway, the other Matthews distributor in Australia discounts everything at below cost. So I can't sell my stock, right? So it's like, what do I do? And I go to Matthews and I'm like, what's happening? They're selling the stuff really cheap. Like, I can't, like, what do I do? And Matthews go, we don't know. Well, she was out of business within a year. She was just clearing her stock, and she was retiring. I think she's dead now, right? But she was just clearing out. She's like, I'm out of business. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm retiring. She was fairly old at the time, and I understand that. The thing was, if you knew that, then it would have been okay. Because it's like, well, I don't know what to do here. I can't wholesale because it's been sold at below cost. What do I do? I mean, the sensible thing would have been for her to go, look, I want to get out of Matthews. I'll sell you all my stock, and then you can have the Matthews distributorship, and it's all fine, and all the shops will buy off you. So she would have made money. All the shops wouldn't have been stuffed in the process of you selling stuff at cost, and it would have been fine. But right now, this is the decree. If you want to buy a decree, there's one in Australia right now, and it's going to cost you $877 US and $100 to get it to America. All you got to do is type on Google PSE Decree Australia price, and it'll come straight up. So, and I encourage you to buy it because it's below cost. And if you're in America, it's cool because PSE just do their warranties and they ship out to you direct. It's a cool little thing. Anyway, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. New Decree 2025. I think it's a cool bow, and if you can get one at $400 cheaper, $400 is good. Thanks for watching. Bye.